I get a reply half an hour, and also Rishikesh was he had kept it on and want to see the which one for the freshers party or this one welcome party or send off party of your freshers parties. So I had put on the mobile and he was roaming in the Millennium Gardens when class was there. So online classes will have its own. Unfortunately, the mobile popped out of his pocket, and I could see the. I also was able to see the locations of Millennium Garden. Okay. Yes. Let us have a brief revision of this one. Afterwards, I'll share this. Uh, the basics of this. Then JavaScript is divided into three parts. That is the core part, client side, and then the server side. In this unit, we are going to study the core part. Means the syntaxes, logic, and other things. Client side also is there. Server side is also there. Then the differences we have seen: case sensitive, object oriented. Then I got declaration of variables dynamically and then in a random way, and also the main similarities syntax. Then we can use the client side service. We can use JavaScript on the client side also and also on the server side. Then we have seen how to insert a JavaScript. We have got a script tag, use a script tag, and then insert the JavaScript inside the HTML. So that is nothing but embedding the JavaScript which the HTML. Client side JavaScript is embedded in XHTML. Server side, we use it for the database operation. Suppose if your system is a server and then if it is getting information, if getting information and sending it to clients, then you can have this server side systems. Then alternate to applets, it can be used. The graphical user interface is very useful. Event-driven programming is very useful as far as JavaScript is concerned, as we are going to see in the examples. Very useful. Now, event-driven programming. So if somebody comes in now, so obviously your attention will go over there. That is one event-driven. Some event happens now in this particular environment. This is one particular environment. So if something happens over there, then that becomes a event. So once the event happens, then associated with that particular event, some functions are there. If a mouse is clicked, one function is automatically called. So such a function is called as what? Such an environment is called as event-driven program. Something like fast tag. All of you know about fast tag. So in tolls, the moment the vehicle passes through, immediately it will catch and then certain events happen over there. Amount is deducted and then immediately the car is allowed to pass on. Approximately 75 to 80% of the time is saved because of that. So similarly, automatically some things happen. So such kind of things are called as event-driven program. So this part is very important. Two marks question can be asked. How do you insert a JavaScript inside a HTML document? So here in this case, type is equal to and then source is equal to the name of. There are two types of insertions of JavaScript. Either you can insert the code itself in the HTML, or you can have a separate JavaScript and then call that particular JavaScript. Both of them are allowed. Suppose if you are calling a separate JavaScript, then you are supposed to use this particular thing. Source JavaScript now .js or the name of the JavaScript .js. Most of the times we use this because it is easier to operate and easier to have. General things, identifier. Identifier is the name which we use for the functions, for the variables, for the classes, for the objects, or any user-defined names which you are going to use in our program. That is called as an identifier. So identifier has got general rules. For example, 25 keywords are there here. Then some keywords are reserved like alert, open, Java, self. They are reserved keywords. What is the meaning of reserved keywords? They are there as a keyword, but as of now, there is no use of them. For the future purposes, we are reserving that particular thing. Then single line comment and then multi-line comment. So JavaScript is to be given like this. 4 types of variables: number, string, boolean, and undefined. If a variable is declared and then the value is not assigned, then it becomes a undefined variable. Number, string, boolean, yes or no, or true or false. Null variable is also not declared, value is also not assigned. Such a kind of a variable is called as the null. JavaScript also includes predefined objects closely related to number, string, and boolean types. That means there's an inbuilt class number, inbuilt class string, and then inbuilt class boolean. So all these classes together are called as the wrapper. And these classes are used for obvious functions. That means for string functions, you use string class. For object related functions, for number related functions or numeric related functions, use the number class. And then for Boolean functions, use the Boolean class. So all of them together are called as the wrapper objects. So 2 marks question can be asked. What is a wrapper? String literals, you know, the constants of the strings are called as string literals. Are values of type numbers represented using double precision. String literal is a sequence of values which are represented either in single quotes or in double quotes. Null, boolean, and undefined. No value, null. Variable is declared but not explicitly valued or given the value, that is called as undefined. Boolean contains the values true or false. So declaring a variable is done using a keyword var. Have a variable var and then name of the variable and then assign the value. But you can use the variables without declaration also. There is a possibility that online, offline. So both the options are there. You can use the variables without declaring them also, but it is always a good habit to declare the variables as VA. This is an example. Variable counter index. These variables are undefined variables. They are declared but not assigned the value. So these become the undefined variables. Normal variables. This is a Boolean variable. This becomes a string variable. Not much difference over there. So number object has got only 2 things to remember here. One is it has got a string constant values and then is nan function. Is nan function is something like is not a number. So declare a variable, assign it to a number variable, and then that variable dot is nan. It will return true or false. If the variable is number, it will return is nan means what it will return. If it is a number, it will return false. If it is not a number, it will return true. Is nan. Number, not a number. Then number can be array also. That particular number can be array also. So maximum value in the array, minimum value in the array. If not a number, then positive infinity, negative infinity, and the pi values can also be assigned for a particular number. So number object, string object, and the other objects together are called as the wrapper classes. Some examples. We have got a function called as toString, which is from the object class. Now you have to relate this to your Java. Some of the things, everything is not from the scratch. So where did you leave from Java? You'll continue here. So in Java, you had a class called as object class, which was the supermost class of all the classes. So the object class had a function called as toString. The same is inherited over here. So the number object inherits the toString. So here, Object class, number class. Object class has got a function called as toString. The same is inherited by the number class also. Variable price is equal to 200, and then price dot toString. What is the value of price? 200, but that will be in the form of string, in the form of number. So if you want to convert that into a string, you can do it. Convert this as a string. You can do it vice versa also. Number to string and then string to number also. So as we discussed in the previous class, implicit type conversions, explicit type conversions. If two types are compatible with each other, then it becomes a implicit type conversion. Otherwise, forcibly, I have to do the type conversions. So for example, integer and floating point, they are compatible with each other. So that becomes an implicit type conversion. If A is integer value, B is float value. A plus B resultant will be float value. So that is implicit type conversion. If A is integer, B is string, then what happens? It is not a implicit type conversion. It is a forced one, coercion, that is called as explicit type conversion. Now, for example, here, this is implicit. Both are of the same type. This is a string, this is a number. Number will be converted into a string, and the resultant value will be the string value. Again, same thing. Number and then string, resultant value will be string. Others dependent upon the individual types A and B. What is the type of A? What is the type of B? When number is used as a null, 0 and 1, true and false. When the number is undefined, it becomes a not a number. So again, Boolean values 0 is false, and then 1 is true, or non-zero numbers are true. Now, reverse of this will be the type conversions. Don't go for this, you can just understand here. Number is converted into a string. Number dot, it is 6. Initially, the compiler or the interpreter will interpret this as what? A number only. Or to convert that into string, then you use number dot to string. Alternatively, you can use this particular thing also. Here to the two precision values. Reverse is also true. A string value can be converted into a number value by typecasting. How do you typecast it? Int of x. So that is what you can do. And then it can be used as a operator. ParseInt can also be used to convert a string value into a numerical value. Integer dot parseInt, integer dot float dot parse float. Same thing, we use it here. String objects no change over there. String function is there, a string class is there, and then a set of functions are. These are the functions. Character at a given location. Index of character at a particular index. Substring of a string, convert the string into a lowercase, and then convert the string into a uppercase. These are the examples. Variable string is a key, is the name of the variable. Okay. Str dot char at 0, 1, 2. Value of this will be G. Index of G. G is repeated multiple number of times. It may take the first occurrence. So, yeah. 0. Substring 2 to 5. 0, 1, 2, 2, 3. GTE. Sometimes E can be skipped. So it will be 2 to 5 minus 1. First to last minus 1. Convert this into the upper case. Then you can know what is the type, since variables are undeclared, variables are undefined. So you need, sometimes you need to know what is the type of the variable. Then you can say type of and then the variable. So this will return the type of that particular variable, whether it is a numerical value, whether it is a Boolean value, or a string value, or a character value, whatever the type is that type it will return. I have deliberately skipped this because assignment operators equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to, division equal to, multiplication equal to, and so on. So those are the assignment there is the object called as date object, which will tell you, which will give you lots of information regarding the date. Now, JavaScript requires you to have a particular functions on which, now, for example, you open a particular website, and then on top of the website, it shows the date, the current date and current time. So what your JavaScript should do is, it should get the current date and time, which should constantly be updated every second. It should. Now you are logging in now. It should show the time now. After 5 minutes, you log in again. It should show the time. After 10 minutes, again you log in again. It will show the time. So you log in after 2 weeks. Again, it will show the time, and then that has to be recorded for check out Flipkart and Amazon. Then it will show you what is your login last 1 year, 2 years logins, and then what you have purchased, what you have ordered, and what you have searched. All those things can be used using the date object. So every time you log in, the date is to be recorded. So for that one, what you can do is have a date object, create a date object. What is the name of object here? Date object. Today is the name of the date object. The object is also declared using a variable. Something different from Java. How do you create an object in Java? The syntax of this one: class name, object name, class name space object name is equal to new, and then the class name, in case parameters are there for constructors, you pass the parameters. But here, how do you create an object? This part remains in right hand side, new, and then the class name remains same. But left hand side, you're going to have the variable keyword and then the name of the object. So here, today is the name of the object. So what this does is, it creates an object which at the current distance. So a new date object is created. Once the date object is created, you can use all these functions with reference to that particular date object. What is the object name? Today. So today dot to local string. Today dot get date. Today dot get month, get day, get full year, get time, hours, minutes, and seconds. Local string means combination of all. Time, date, month, year, seconds, milliseconds, and all those things will come in a single string like information. Get date, it will only give the date, the today's date. Get month will give only the month. Month will start from 0. So it will give the output as get day, day of the week. So first day of the week or second day of the week. Sometimes the day starts from Sunday. So second day of the week. Full year 2021. That will be the full year. That will be the option of this. Get time. The number of milliseconds since January. So since January, it will give the time in milliseconds. What is the time right now? Hours. So 10 will be the hours. Minutes. Hours will be in the 24 format, not AM, PM. 10 AM. 10 is 10. 10 PM will be 10 AM will be 10. 10 PM will be 22. 20 minutes again 0 to 59 will be the. What is the seconds? Number of seconds 0 to 59 will be the option for this. So 3 functions, very important functions. From 5.5 marks point of view also, 10 marks point of view also. Use the functions for input and output on the screen. So you'll be having write function and write element. So document dot write and then the function. If you give a variable, variable's value will be displayed. If you put anything in double quotes, that thing will be displayed as it is. Alert function we have seen. Alert function just alerts. One box will come, and then inside that particular box, what happens? One OK button will be there, cancel button will be there. Whatever content you specify as parameter, that will be displayed in the box. Alert function will be there. Confirm. It will proceed the moment user says yes or no, yes or cancel. So to take this, so yes will be represented by OK, and then you have got the cancel button. So 2 things are there. Confirm. Are you sure? Exit. So what happens is, if okay, then performs the appropriate task. If not okay, cancels that particular task. Then prompt is the value to accept from the user. This is syntax prompt, some text which you want to accept, and then this text will be displayed. The second text will be displayed in case the user presses the OK button without entering the text in the text box. Then this will be the examples also we have seen. Control statements, no change or no major changes over there. Before going to control statements, we need to have a relational operator. Equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, strictly equal to. A, obtain capitals, B, obtain in small letters. A equal to B will be true. A strictly equal to B will be false. So that is the difference between equal to and strictly equal. So we have seen the 4 is equal to 4, and then we have got ampersand for the relational operators. If A is greater than B, if A is less than B, and so on. And then short circuit operators also the other day we have seen. In case if the output of the expression can be obtained from the first expression itself in a conditional statement, then it will not evaluate the other expressions. So such cases will be called as the short circuit operators. Then operator precedency also we have seen. Plus plus or a unary plus associativity is right. So if you say A is equal to 10, A plus plus, then the evaluation will be from right to left, not from left to. For all these, the association will be left to right, except for this and equal to plus, plus equal to minus equal to and so on. So that will be from right to. No changes in if statement, no changes in the switch statement, no changes in the while statement, no changes in the do while statement. For loop also same thing, initial expression, conditional statement, and then the increment expression to, and then the while statement, while expression, and then absolutely no change from C and Java. So this is the syntax what we saw in the date object. This is syntax new and then the object name, variable and then the name of the object, name of the class. Once the class is created, once the object is created, then object dot name, object dot number, object dot address. Any number of variables you can add to this. Something like structures in C. So as many things you want, you can add over. So array also you can have different options. We have seen the examples for this. Variable, name of the array, new array. You can use the normal brackets. You can just give the strength of the array or the length of the array, but you not give the contents. Or directly you can give the contents of the array. You can use any one of these three. Okay. And once it is created, afterwards you can change the length also. Now here in this particular case, what happens is in this particular case, you're going to have variable new list is equal to new array 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then here, what is the size of the array here? 4. 4 elements are. Afterwards, we are changing this to what? We are changing this to 300. So from 4, it will be 300. So it will start from this one. What the? It will start from 4. 0, 1, 2, 3 will be these objects. But remaining will be what? Remaining will be undefined. The values will be undefined. The join method we have seen. When you join the variables, for example, here, create a new array names and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So array need not be of the same type. It can be of different types. Join them. So what happens is all 4 of them will be joined with the parameter which we have passed here. Over there. So only one object will come over here in the new array with colon as the separator. So here 4 objects are there. It will be only one object with colon being inserted. If no value is given over there, comma will be added to that particular. Reverses the contents of the array. Sort sorts the contents of the array. Suppose in case if array contains objects of different type, number is also there, and then string values are also there. In such cases, numbers will come first, string will come. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 are numerical values. 3, 4 are say string values. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will come as it is. 1, 2 are string values. ONETWO. Then 3 and 4. So if you use sort methods, 3, 4 will come first, then 1, then 2. Just look at my hand movements. 5, FIVE. 1, SIX. 2. So 1, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6. F will come before S. So FIVE, not 5. So numericals will come first and then the string values. In that again, the assignment will be. So that is sort, concat. 2 parameters are to be passed. One you call with reference to the string itself, and then the concat. So what is the value of new names? In the previous case, we have new names. New names will be something like this. So to that one, these values will be concatenated. So it will be added to them. Slice, whatever the range you are giving, that will be slice to. So this range will be the just like a subset of that particular thing. So if only one parameter is passed, then it will be from that particular. So here 7. What is the range? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So last one minus 7 will be. String converts all the array elements into the string value. Push and pop. Push will take the push the element at the beginning. Pop will pop shift. Now, for example, suppose assume this to be the those values will be there. Functions like in normal programming languages, you can define functions here also. So referred to as objects. Now functions will be treated as objects over there. Function to be treated as objects over there. Keyword function will come in Python. How the compiler understands it's a function? DEF. Use the keyword DEF. So here, if you use the keyword function, then the compiler or interpreter understand that this is a any identifier can be used for this particular function. Refer function. How do you assign it to and then call a function? You're defining a particular function. Contents we are not specified over here. fun is equal to fun. So for this particular function, right now we are having two names. One is fun, the other one is ref. Either you can call a function like this, or you can call with the alias, the alternate names. Then you have got a function defines definitions are placed in the head section of text. There are two things. One is only HTML document inside that JavaScript comes. So if that is the case, then function is defined inside the head section of the HTML. Suppose, for example, in case if we are defining JavaScript separately and HTML separately, then no need of defining the function in the head section. You can define it. If the function is a part of the HTML, not separate JavaScript is being called, then the function is generally defined in HTML head section. No compulsion as such. You can use it. Implicit variables have the global scope. Everybody is well versed with the scope of a function and then local scope and the global scope. So all the variables will be having the global scope. What is the constructor? It's a block of code which gets executed when an object of a particular class is created. So such a thing is called as a constructor. Same thing here. Car is an inbuilt class, and then we have got three parameters to it, and then we can initialize it. So this is a function to initialize the constructor. So as far as possible, as far as our scope is concerned, we are not using constructors much. Only we are restricting ourselves to what knowing what is a constructor and then how does constructor is new object is created with this. These parameters are passed to the constructor and then the values are initialized using that particular constructor. So that is the mean. This is something which is something new for you all, pattern matching. So today I'll just give you the brief introduction about this, and then why do we use the pattern matching and other things. Then we'll go for the actual usage of this particular thing. So very important, especially when search is concerned and when other things are concerned. Pattern matching plays a very important role. I think pattern matching I did explain in the previous class, previous semester. Python, we used the pattern matching. The concept remains same. We also had a program wherein we matched the pattern for the PAN card. We matched the pattern for the Aadhaar card and so on. So there pattern matching comes over. So pattern matching is something where what we do is we generally have the patterns matched with this. If your name is very big, for example, my name and my surname is very big. So if you want to search with that particular thing, you need not enter the complete name. You can enter some patterns. For example, V star, you can have V star, J star, something you can have. What does star represent there? The remaining characters which the user has not entered. So that particular character can be anything. So V star can be anything over. That particular character is called as meta character as far as the pattern matching is concerned. So that meta character can be anything. So some event happened and then your attention was driven over there. So that is event driven. For example, here in this particular case, what happens is variable string do not look outside when the class is going on. So this is one particular example. So here, position str search. Every pattern has to be given within the slash, 2 forward slashes only. There is a function called as search, and then we will study only about this pattern. So all the patterns are to be given inside the search function. So not. Where is not here? 0, 1, 2, 3. So not begins from the third position. What does search give us? It gives the location of that particular pattern which you have passed over here. It searches not, and then the value of this will be 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. third position, not is found. Next class, we'll study with the meta characters. I think I have already explained this in your fifth semester. What are those characters? Each character has got its own respective value. Each character, each block has got its own respective value. So those are to be used over. One simple example I'll show you. Now you have to remember this Viva question. Explain or write the meta characters of the JavaScript. So here in this case, see backslash or all three types of brackets. This what is this called as circumflex. Circumflex character, dollar asterisk plus question mark, and then you have got the dot, which is also called as a period here in this particular case. So this can be one particular character. So what do you represent this? Let's see. Dot. One variable, one patterns are there. One set of patterns are there. Age, range, age, page, range. Dot age. So dot can represent any character. So total number of characters we want to match here is 1, 2, 3, 4. But first character can be anything. It can be S, R, C, P, W, or any of the other things, except for dot. Dot does not replace dot. We have backslash dot, but dot represents any of. So all those things can come over. That will be one particular. That is one of the sufficient for this. The next class will continue with this. Not today. We have vaccination today. Tomorrow, those who are under me, meet me. I think we have class at the same time. So meet me after your class, after your labs, for finalization of your project reports. Remember, by the end of this particular month, you'll be having your practical examinations and also you'll be having your projects also. But I don't want to push you into the relaxing mode. Some kind of, say, relaxation will be given to you all as far as your programs are concerned, as far as your project is concerned. So what is that some kind of relaxation? So you come here, your examination is there, and then you come there, you sit. Sir, I don't know how to type a JavaScript. Sir, I don't know how to use a HTML program. Definitely you will fail. Suppose if you come, you type a HTML program, you type a XHTML program, you type a JavaScript, and then you encounter some errors. Then you'll be given some kind of a relaxation. So from your side, some efforts should be there. So the moment I say some relaxation, don't see to it that you will come there, attend it, and you'll pass. That is not going to happen. Effort should be there from your side. How to type the programs and other things. Similarly, your project also. So this particular month, those who are not present, tell them also that what let them